Let's play a little This Is Your Life. Just clear up one thing for me is I always thought that it was Rick Majerus who gave you your nickname, but then I saw a quote from you that said it was Al McGuire. Of course, you went to Marquette.
It really
Which one
was a
it?
combination of both. The story goes that I was checking into a basketball camp. Rick Majerus was standing next to Al McGuire. Rick says that kid can really play. He's a good player. You should watch him. Later that week, I think it was the Bucks or someone was coming in to do, and they needed an extra player. And Al says, Doc. And but Rick had called me Doc through the whole week. But when Al said it,
now it's official.
Now everybody, it's what's interesting is when I went back home from the camps, I never told my parents or my brother that they called me Doc. So I was still Glenn. Through my high school career, I was Glenn in Chicago, but in Milwaukee, I was Doc. And when I signed, I was Doc.
It's funny about Al McGuire, when he coached, a lot of times he didn't even know his own players' names that he was coaching. He'd say, 31, you with the blonde hair. He just didn't know anybody's name, so you just became Doc.
Al was, he never coached me,
right.
but he
Hank
recruited
was
me.
Your coach.
I have a great picture in my office of Al, in my office in Orlando, of Al standing behind the record store. My dad owned the record store. He was a cop, and his side business was a record store. After I signed, and Al retired, Al would still come up to the record store because he just liked hanging out. And back then the record stores, it was vinyl.
Right. We'll have to explain to our younger viewers what a record is.
There were 45s
right.
and
a machine
and LPs, and so. But that was Al. Al just had a his presence is and Rick's too. I think it'll always. I believe in what they just did their own thing, and that's been me. Some of the things I do work, some of them don't, but whatever. And that's how I believe. I tell my players that all the time. I've drawn up more plays out of timeouts that I'm watching a game, and I just see it, and I go with it. Never run, never practice, just do it. And
trust your instincts.
Just my instincts, and sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. When they don't, I throw it away. It's gone. I tried. And I think that's how I hope I continue to be that way. The old saying is beginners are open and experts are closed. And if you can become a quote-unquote expert and stay open, then you're on to something. And I hope I always stay open.